I've been doing a little bit of cleaning up here in the studio. With making Vlogmas, I'm pulling stuff out and nothing is getting put away. So I thought that I would, I've come across a bunch of projects that I started this year that I didn't finish. And I thought maybe you might get a kick out of the millions of things I've started and not finished. I'm not getting a kick out of it, but maybe you can. So here we go. Do you remember when I did this piece here? I finished it this year. I think I worked on it probably till March or so. Actually, I think in my book here I have it when I finished it. I finished it in February. So, yeah, I mean, it took me a while to find a square. There we go. It took me a while to find a square frame. They're really hard to find. I have a frame, and all I have to do is get this stretched on here and frame it. But yeah, I'm not getting very far. So that's my first finished but unfinished thing. It is pretty, isn't it? I got to get this up on a wall. I know exactly where it's going to go too. This was a Russian sampler that I bought from, I don't remember actually where I got it from. One of the other things, cross stitch, I'm just doing cross stitch first. One of the other things that I worked on, I didn't start it this year. I started this 25 years ago. It was originally intended for Gary's office, but now he's a pastor and he doesn't really want it in his office. He's got other things in his office. He still loves it, but anyway, I've decided I'm going to finish it and give it to Jonathan because he also loves anything Norman Rockwell because, you know, the art part of it. He's really into a lot. He's got a lot of prints and books and stuff. So I'll show you how far I am with this. That's what I've got done. And actually all of this, the reason I quit working on it, I was working on it this year, but I realized that all of this is wrong. It's not placed wrong. It's just that it's supposed to be double thread and I used a single thread for it. So I don't know if I should tear it out or leave it. I think I should tear it out because it should be darker. I guess I could go over it, but I don't know that it would look all that great. So I would like to actually finish this and give this to Jonathan for his birthday in May. What are the chances, do you think? I have a bit to go, really. I mean, there's all this on the bottom. So we'll see. It is a nice project, and it's on 14 count Ada, so it goes quite fast. I'll try not to have the crunching here where you can hear it. And then at Easter time, I decided that I was going to stitch an Easter ornament. So I had in this book here was this Easter egg trio. And actually the one I'm stitching is this, but you can't even see the pattern. You can see it much better in this. And this is as far as I got. And this thread is from that Russian stitch that I did. It was left over. And I love things in red. Red is my color. I love anything to do with red. This pattern comes from the 2022 April Just Cross Stitch magazine. So maybe I've got a head start on this. I can finish it for this Easter. Oh, Dale. And then I worked on this fellow. And I really wanted to finish this because I love this picture. I really do. And I have a place for it. So the fox, that's A Year in the Woods from Cottage Garden Samplings. And again, I don't have a whole lot to do on this. I have the top of his ear and this part here to finish. And then the trees and the house. And that's it. And then he's done. So I need to crack on with this one. This is a really fun stitch too. So there's that one. And then I was working on this for Jonathan for Halloween. I did finish one for him, though. It was the cats on the broom. I did show that to you way back when. But I wanted to do this one as well. And this one is this one here. And it is from the October October 2023 just cross stitch. That's what that one's from. And that's almost finished too. I could finish that. I got to jump on for next year. Oh, Dale. I am my own worst enemy. Some of you are laughing. I know. I can hear you. And then do you remember when I made this little angel? I turned her into a senior angel, and I decided that I wanted to make a little boy senior angel to go with her. Well, I drew out the boy because his legs are going to be different. And I have started him. And I have a piece of fabric here where I was trying to use this as inspiration to do his checkered. He's going to have bib overalls on. It's going to be a farmer angel. And he's going to be senior. And this is as far as I got with him. So I need to get that done too, because this is one of my little creations. So that's another project that I started. I did finish stitching this. This was the summer something or other, summer camp, Stitchers camp that I was going to do the whole summer, but I only ended up doing June. And you were allowed to pick your own pattern. And this is one I picked, and it turned out beautiful. I love it, but I haven't put it together yet, and I don't know quite how I'm going to put it together. I was thinking I'm going to use it for a book, but I don't know for sure. So I did finish this one. I just haven't fully finished it. But I did finish some. I have this one that I finished, and this one that I finished, and this one that I finished, and this one that I finished. I didn't stitch these last year. I stitched these, or I didn't stitch these this year. I stitched them last year, but I finished them this year. This one goes this way. Okay, that was the cross stitch. We're going to do the knitting next. So I have done a lot of knitting, and I have finished most of the knitting that I've done. I have finished. I counted up. I have a little book here. I don't know if anybody else does this, but I'm going to show it to you. I have a scribbler here that has, this is for 2023. This is all completed projects from here and all of this. And actually I've got a few more that I need to add on here. So there's a lot that I have finished. It looks like when I'm finished with you, you're going to think, oh my gosh, but I actually have finished a lot as well. And in this listing is 16 pairs of socks that I have finished. Actually 17, because these ones I have finished as well, but I haven't. No, they're in here, so that's 16. Yeah, 16 pairs. And I have a few that I haven't finished. So I have this one that I started this one before. I started this one like in October or something, and I really thought that I would finish the pair because I'm just using scraps for this one. But it got too close to when I was needing to start my socks for Christmas giving, so I stopped. But I will pick this up in January and do the other one. Same thing with this one. This is the first sock in the 3 pattern series from the kitchen sink shop, the Little Women Sock Club. This was the first one. This was the October one. So the same thing happened with this one. I had started, and then I needed to do the other ones for Christmas gifts, so I stopped. So these 2 are the first ones that I'm going to be finishing up in the new year. I just have to make one each. And then this one, I have all 3 months. So she gave us a pattern October 1st, November 1st, December 1st. This is the October one. And then I also want to do the November and December one as well. So that's coming up in sock knitting. Then I have this sock that I started. I did this one in the summer. It's a really thin yarn. I can't remember. Very stretchy. I did this one, and this was supposed to be a summer sock for myself. And I need to make its mate. Then this glove, I don't actually think, I think if I did start this year, it was in January of this year, like right after Christmas. And the reason I haven't finished it is because I can't find the pattern. I don't know where I got this pattern from. So I will have to find the pattern and carry on. This is the Afghan that I mentioned in a couple of videos ago in one of my Vlogmas, where I was saying that I needed to finish this one before I start another one. This is 30 squares of different sampler stitches in knitting, and I've done 18. Here's my 18 that I've done. And the one that I'm working on right now is this cable one down here. So I've had this for about 3 years. I started this. This was a subscription. I got a kit every month for a year, and in every month was a pattern for 3 of these squares and the yarn. So I need to finish this because I really do like it, and I want to use this in my living room. I think it would be really great on our couch. So this is one that, and I have been working on it very slowly, a little bit this year. Not a whole lot. I've been doing a lot of other knits, but it needs to be done. Do you remember this bag? I started this sometime this year, and I was using, I had 3 balls of an industrial type yarn. It's this stuff here. It's very tough. I don't know what it is, if it's rug yarn or what it is. And I was mixing it with, how many? Mixing it with 3 strands of crochet cotton because I have so much. And so it was giving me this kind of boho coloring thing, which I really like. So I got 2 panels done. I just need 1 more panel. And for the life of me, I can't find the 3rd ball of this yarn. So I don't know what I'm going to do, because if I use anything else, it's not going to fit this. And I really like this, like this is a very durable fabric that this is coming out as. And I like the variation of the colors. I just think it's great, and I think it would really look good, but I still have not found that 3rd ball. I know it's in this house somewhere, and it's in this studio somewhere. I just have to dig deeper, I think. So this pattern, it's not really my fault that I haven't finished it. It's just because I can't find this yarn. But are these colors gorgeous? I really do like them. I just think it's going to be really nice when it's done. And it's really a sturdy, firm fabric that's going to be great for whatever kind of bag I turn it into, which will probably be a knitting bag or something like that. Then there's this hat that I was designing. I just started this, I don't know, in November. I'm not really in love with it. I don't know if I'm going to keep going or not. I haven't decided. That's why it's still in this condition. I'll have to see if I'm going to keep on going with it or not. It might be frogged. And then there's these. I have one of these mittens. I think I might have made this in January of this year or December of last year. I can't remember. And it looks like I started another one and frogged it for some reason. I don't know why. So I guess I better make this other one. These will be really nice, warm mittens, actually. I should finish them. So I think that's it for the knitting. Knitting, I've done way better with finishing than anything, really. I've done, like I say, I finished 16 pairs of socks this year, over the year, and I've did that shawl, that reading shawl, and yeah, so knitting hasn't, I've really cleaned up better on my knitting this year than all my other crafts. Slow stitching. My, how I do love to slow stitch. I think, aside from knitting and crocheting, this is my favorite thing to do. I absolutely love this. This I started, I don't know when I started it, really. And I have been working on it off and on throughout the year. And actually, I was doing really well until I started my daily stitching journal, which I will show you in another video coming up. Not yet. That kind of has taken me away from this a little bit, but this has been just pure love doing this. And this is a knitting bag made out of jeans that I'm making, and I've called it Everything I Love bag. So I have flowers, friends, family, Gary and Dale, music. This was our dog Molly. Here's Chip. I haven't finished him yet, but he's actually coming along pretty good. And life began in a garden, and I'm doing more flowers and things. And then I'll do random stitches all over here. I toyed with the idea of putting some patches, other colors, but I've decided that I just want to do my own stitching on here. Just embroidery, that's all I'm doing. So I'm just going to practice different stitches all over. And on the back, that's going to be completely stitched as well. So I have a barn here. And then over here I've got to plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow. That's Audrey Hepburn's saying. And I'm just going to cover it with things. So this is not going to be done. Although, once a person gets going on something like this, if you do a little bit every day, you can really, really get somewhere with it. And I love it. I absolutely love this. I have the strap already made, but again, I want to stitch on this strap, the whole length of it. So there's lots to be done on this, and I knew when I started this that this would not be finished quickly. It is a labor of love, this one. And I can't wait to get back to it. As soon as my stitching journal is done, this is going to be the next thing I'm going to work on stitching-wise, although I do have some slow stitching projects that I want to start. I really love slow stitching. It is the most relaxing thing I have ever found to do. So that's one stitching project. Next, there's a sewing project. Remember when I did the video on this table runner for the kitchen island? I made all these little squares just with scraps, and then I tea-dyed them and put them together. Well, this is where it is. It's right where I left it. I have not put it together. And it's what, like a 10-minute job to make this? Although, when I get it sewn together and put the padding in and everything, I do want to do slow stitching on top of it. So that will be another slow stitching project. But first I got to just put it together already. And then for a while this year, I was sewing patches together. Not patches, scraps. And I have really got a lot of little scraps going on here. And I've made some nice little pieces. These are all going to be used for slow stitching projects this year. And that's what I intended to use them for. But these are going to be for different kinds of slow stitching. I might make some books, it's like some fabric books or some journal covers, real journal covers and things like that out of these. And I will embellish them with slow stitching. But in here, there were some that I was making for a quilt as well, or two quilts actually. Might get down to the bottom of it here. I got all kinds, and I got loads and loads of scraps to keep on going with this. Oh my gosh, where is it I'm looking for? Here we go. So I was putting together some pieces for a quilt. One was for a boy and one was for a girl. And I was incorporating some words with the fabrics. So this one, oh, the places you will go. This one here is a person's a person, no matter how small. Some are for boy, some are for girl. And then I have a bunch of pieces here. A little magic can take you a long way. There's another one. These were all going to be incorporated into this quilt. Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. Dr. Seuss. So yeah, I have all these little pieces. And they're parts of these quilts that I have papers on here. Here's another one. Sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart. These were all intended for quilts. I did this little piece. And this little piece, it is only with the heart that one can see brightly. So all of this was intended for, well, some of these were for quilts for a boy or a girl, and the rest of them are for slow stitching. So I have a lot more scraps to put together. But this is something that I really want to do this year. I really, as soon as my stitching journal is done, I'm going to be doing a lot of slow stitching journals and things. Not the same kind of journal as what I did, but journal books. And I can incorporate a lot of this in that kind of work. And then there's the mug rugs. I always have mug rugs on the go. This one's for a teacher. This is one of my ladies of summer. I've just started to put the things on, the pieces. A pig. A snowman, he's going to have skates on. A tenting scene for a camper. And a little camper needs to be stitched. Another camper. This is a lady, a woman. Some of these have been stitched, some of these have not been stitched. Some of these have pins in them too. Here's one that is a horse. And I have some grain elevators. These I intended to make up and sell at a farmer's market here in town. When we have the rodeo, we have a farmer's market, and I was going to get a booth and sell these. Another camper. These have been quilted, or they've been stitched on now. Now I just have to put them together and quilt them. And another camper. And they sell really well. I've sold a lot of them. And then I have trucks. I've done quite a few trucks. These are just sitting on paper right now. They're just the pieces, but that's what the truck will look like. Because if you have something for women, you have to have something for men as well. And any fellow that I've given a truck to have loved it. All right, that's those. And then I have a dinosaur. I know a little boy who would love that. And I have a lot more of these. Actually, I think I'm going to keep this one out. I want to give a gift to one of our favorite waitresses in a restaurant that we go to quite a bit. And I think I'm just going to keep that one out and finish that one up for her. Yeah, so that is the sewing things that haven't been finished. Okay, the next thing that I started and didn't finish, and there's two of these somewhere, is, oops, again, sorry, Hendrix the Hare. I did ears. I have these two, and I did another set in brown, and I don't know where they are. I haven't, like, I was working on two of these big rabbits. If you don't know what Hendrix the Hare is, there's a YouTube channel on the making of Hendrix. It's a big rabbit. So I've got all his parts here. I just have to make him. And he is in with a lot of other stuffed animal toys, figures, whatever you want to call it. And I thought I would show some of these to you. Now, Hendrix, I started this year. The rest of these have been in this plastic container here for quite a while. The first one, and I'll show you the book. I have had this book. It's from Better Homes and Gardens, Old-Fashioned Dolls and Toys. I've had this for probably 40 years. It is such a good book. If you ever come across, if you're a toy maker or a doll maker or anything like that, you need to find this book. You probably could pick one of these up at a charity shop or a secondhand store, or maybe even online. I don't know, like eBay or something like that, but it is a fantastic book. And I'm just going to show you some of the projects in here. I'll get to the projects. So there's, move this over so it's more centered. The Raggedy Kids, which is not anything wonderful. Rufus and Rowena, Catnip and Casper. All of these patterns are so different than most patterns that you're going to find. A lot of them are quite, I don't know, I want to say antique. That's not what I'm looking for. I'll think of it. These pull toys made out of wood. Bears. And all the patterns are full size. This doll, who's on the cover, I've made her. And her whole, you hand stitch all her flowers in her vest here. And her face is just beautiful. She's just a wonderful doll to make. I've made several of them. Mohair. And the instructions in these books are just fantastic. They really, really are. See here how you stitch her bib? I wouldn't mind making another one. Uncle Sam. Old MacDonald's Farm. These are puzzles. So if you have a rotary cutter, is that what you call them? No, a router. You could make these very easily, and the patterns are so easy to follow. Calico Cat and Gingham Dog. Primitive, that's the word I was thinking of. Vincent and Victoria. And here is a basket full of cats. I should make that for my son. He's got 4 cats, which I've told you about before. Red-headed twins. A big Rupert Rabbit, Sir Rupert Rabbit. And Florence and Phoebe. This angel is the one that I have down in my dining room. She's on the old, attached to the old sewing machine table that I have down there. I have made many of these. The legs are killer to turn, but she's really nice. Really, really nice. And Pauline and Paulette. I just love the simpleness of them, you know? They're just old, they really are old-fashioned toys. And we must be coming to the ones that I have made. No, not yet. Noah's Ark, all made with wood. Angelina. Topsy-Turvy Twosome. I absolutely love Topsy-Turvy dolls. So one end is a mouse and the other is the cat. Isn't that amazing? It's just great. Absolutely great. I should make that for somebody, honestly. When I go through this book, I just want to make them all. And Old Women in Shoe. That's such a nice project. They're all really nice projects. Gordon and Gertrude, the giraffes. Suzanne and Rebecca, love those. Here is what I'm making. I made Clara years ago, and I actually gifted her to a friend who collected cows. Now I'm making Ferdinand, and I have them all cut out. I've had them all cut out for a long, long time. Here's his jeans and his shirt. He's all here. I need to put him together. They are so fun, these cows, to make. They really are very, very fun. So, Clara and Ferdinand. The instructions are, you couldn't ask for a better pattern book. And there's Dilly and Dally, two clowns. And Barnum and Bailey, these are hobby horses. They're just so well done. And a Jack in the Box. I love this. Jester the hand puppet. He's made out of Applehead. Isn't he wonderful? I love this kind of stuff. Yeah, so this book, if you ever find this book and you are into making dolls and toys and stuff, this is a really good book. But it's quite vintage now. I'm looking to see when it was published. Give you an idea. 1992. So yeah, it's a great book. Yeah, so I've got the cow started. And then in here I have one of those Tilda Angels. I've shown them on my videos before. And Molly Monkey. That's another great toy to make, Molly Monkey. She's free online. If you type in Molly Monkey, you'll see what it is. And she has clothes and everything. Great toy to make. And this, look at the shape. If you're a doll maker like me, you'll know. This is a Raggedy Ann. You can tell by the shape of the body. Thing is, I don't have girls. I only have one little girl in our family. They're all boys. This is a bear. I have made loads and loads of bears over the years, and I do like to make them. This is Pookie Bear. I can tell by the pattern. Quite a big bear. Now that I'm really into slow stitching, what I have in mind to do with these, maybe it's a good thing sometimes you don't just always finish the things that you start, because now if I was to make this bear, I would stitch him up. I would put all this fancy slow stitching on him and make him just absolutely gorgeous, and maybe that is what I'll do with the bears anyway. Maybe even, well, not the cow, but the bears for sure. Maybe Molly Monkey. And this is another one. There's another Pookie. This one I actually started. Sorry about the crinkle. This one is with upholstery fabric. This one would lend really well to slow stitching on. Yeah, so maybe I'll get back and do some of these. There is a shop here, or not a shop, but there is the next town over. They have a very large market, garden, and farmer's market in the summertime, and anybody can get a booth there. These kind of things, maybe I could finish some of these and some of the mug rugs and things like that, and sell them. There's a little bear in here. This little bear. This would be fantastic if you stitched on it. Absolutely fantastic. I've always started to sew him together. Or her. This has got to be a her bear. Yeah, so I might get back into toy making and incorporate it with my slow stitching. That is sort of what I'm thinking right now. And I've showed you this before, and I meant to finish this and put it in Jonathan's Advent, and I completely forgot about it. Next year, remind me, please. I was making this for Jonathan when he was a baby. And, of course, you would recognize him as the fellow who fell off the wall, Humpty. And I wanted to, when I found it several months ago, and I think I made a video on it, I wanted to finish it and put it in his Advent, or give it to him for Christmas, and I completely forgot. And here it is. So, yeah, that's one that I gotta look into this bin a little bit more from time to time. I get doing one thing and I completely forget what I'm doing. So, is that it? I don't know. Not quite. Here's another bear. This is quite a small bear. There's his head. I should finish this for one of the little guys. All right, maybe that's it. Well, I think you kind of got my drift. Anyway, I'm sure there's a lot more projects stuffed away in other containers than the ones that I actually looked in. But that's the life of a quilter and a knitter and a stitcher and a everythinger, a maker, right? We start projects, we don't always finish them right away, but eventually they get done. And my little journal there, it's not even a journal, it's just a scribbler that I write down things that I do finish. And I put the date and where it goes, all those things that I finished, I'm so happy that I did. And almost every one of those things went to somebody. I gifted it to somebody. So I do a lot of things, and I do get a lot of things done. Sometimes it makes me feel like I don't, but I do. So I hope you enjoyed this walk down my unfinished projects, and I'll see you tomorrow. Today is the 15th of December and the 15th day of Advent. Today Jonathan is getting some Men's Care Pine Tar Toscana soap, Face and Body Pure Cleansing, and a granola bar to take to work.